A spaceship lands, the Earth stops, and one alien with a message almost got the movie banned before anyone saw it. These are 20 secrets about the day the Earth stood still, hidden for decades. And the bonus? The robot costume that nearly killed its operator.
Let me out!
Reset the drill.
Let me out!
I said reset the drill.
Let me out! Let me out!
Number 20. The FBI watched this movie before it even premiered. The Day the Earth Stood Still wasn't just a science fiction film. It was a threat. At least that's what the FBI thought. Before the movie hit theaters, federal agents attended private screenings, taking notes, watching for communist propaganda. This was 1951 peak Red Scare paranoia. Senator McCarthy was hunting communists everywhere. And here was a movie about world peace, disarmament, and international cooperation. Suspicious. Very suspicious. The film's message that humanity needed to abandon nuclear weapons or face extinction terrified government officials. They saw it as anti-American, anti-military, possibly Soviet-influenced. FBI reports described the film as dangerous, subversive material that could undermine American defense policy. Studio head Daryl Zanuck received warnings. Pressure mounted to change the ending, soften the message, make it more patriotic. But director Robert Wise refused. He knew what he was making. A warning, not propaganda. A mirror held up to Cold War insanity. When the film premiered, agents sat in theaters watching audience reactions, noting who applauded which scenes. Some theaters were monitored for weeks. Cast members were questioned about their political beliefs. Michael Rennie, who played Klaatu, was interviewed multiple times about his intentions, and the paranoia wasn't unfounded. The film was anti-war, in a culture preparing for war. It asked dangerous questions. And in 1951, America, questions were more threatening than aliens. Number 19. The alien who was almost British royalty.
I am leaving soon, and you will forgive me if I speak bluntly.
Michael Rennie wasn't the first choice to play Klaatu. The studio wanted Claude Rains, the sophisticated British actor from Casablanca and The Invisible Man. Rains had the voice, the presence, the otherworldly quality. He was perfect. He said yes initially, contracts were drawn up, costumes measured. Then he read the script carefully and backed out. Why? He thought the role was beneath him. An alien in a silver suit preaching about peace? Too silly, too simple, too science fiction. Rains wanted prestige, not spaceships. So the search continued. Spencer Tracy was considered. Too American. Orson Welles was approached. Too expensive and too unpredictable. Finally, someone suggested Michael Rennie, a tall, elegant British actor with minimal Hollywood experience. He wasn't famous, he wasn't expensive, but he had something Rains didn't: humility. Rennie understood Klaatu wasn't a conquering alien or a monster. He was a messenger, calm and patient, trying to save a species too stupid to save itself. Rennie played him without ego, without scenery chewing, just quiet, authority, and infinite sadness. When Rains saw the finished film years later, he reportedly said it was the biggest mistake of his career, because Klaatu didn't need a star. He needed someone willing to disappear into the role, and Rennie did exactly that, becoming the alien nobody forgot. Number 18. The robot that nearly killed its operator.
We're good to go.
Gort wasn't CGI or stop motion. He was a man inside a rubber suit, and that suit was a death trap. Locke Martin, standing 7 feet 7 inches tall, was cast because of his height, not his acting ability. He was a doorman at Grauman's Chinese Theater when a casting director spotted him. Perfect size, perfect proportions. But nobody considered what it would be like inside that costume. The Gort suit was made of thick rubber, airtight, with minimal ventilation. Under studio lights, temperatures inside reached over 120 degrees. Martin would last 15 minutes maximum before needing to be extracted. He couldn't see properly through the narrow eye slits. He couldn't hear directions. He couldn't signal for help if something went wrong. During one scene, Martin collapsed inside the suit from heat exhaustion. The crew didn't notice for almost a minute because Gort was supposed to stand still. When they finally realized, they had to cut him out of the costume. It took 3 people and scissors. Martin was barely conscious, soaked in sweat, skin bright red. Medical staff were called. He recovered but refused to go back in for hours. The production had to build ventilation holes, create a cooling system, limit shooting time. Even then, Martin later said, wearing Gort was the most physically demanding thing he'd ever done. Not because of performance, but survival. That menacing stillness you see on screen, that's a man trying not to pass out. Number 17, the message that almost got censored.
It should happen to me. You must go to Gort. You must say these words. Klaatu, Barada, Nikto.
Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. Klaatu.
Klaatu Barada Nikto, 3 words that became legendary. But they almost didn't make it into the film. The studio's censorship department flagged the alien language, demanding a translation. They wanted to know exactly what it meant because if it contained anything subversive, religious, or political, it would be cut. Writer Edmund North refused to provide a translation. He said the mystery was the point, but the censors pushed harder. Was it blasphemy? Was it a coded communist message? Was it mocking Christianity? North finally gave them a vague explanation to satisfy them, but he later admitted he made it up on the spot. The real meaning was intentionally ambiguous, meant to sound important without being specific. That ambiguity made it powerful. Audiences debated the meaning for decades. Some thought it was a command to spare humanity. Others believed it was instructions to destroy Earth if Klaatu died. Science fiction fans created entire fan theories. The phrase entered pop culture, quoted in everything from Army of Darkness to The Simpsons. But here's the secret. North later confessed the words had no literal translation. They were sounds that felt alien, nothing more. The meaning was whatever audiences needed it to be. Hope, warning, command, prayer. All and none. And that's why it worked. Because sometimes the most powerful messages are the ones we complete ourselves. Number 16. The day everything actually stopped.
The arrival of a space ship in Washington. Government and Defense Department officials are concerned by reports of panic in several.
The film's title promised the Earth would stand still, and the production tried to deliver that literally. For the scene where Klaatu shuts down all electricity worldwide, director Robert Wise wanted real footage of cities going dark, machines stopping, chaos erupting. But how do you film that in 1951 without actual cooperation? You don't. Instead, Wise's team coordinated with multiple cities to capture real blackout footage during scheduled power maintenance. Washington, D.C., New York, London, all contributed clips of genuine electrical shutdowns, traffic lights dying, elevators stopping, radios going silent. The production spliced together real blackout footage with stage scenes, creating a montage that felt global and authentic. But the most impressive shot was the stock exchange floor freezing. That was filmed during an actual emergency drill at the New York Stock Exchange. Traders were told to stop moving on cue. No acting, just real people genuinely stopping in the middle of work. The eerie stillness you see is authentic confusion and awkwardness. Wise said it was the hardest sequence to coordinate because they needed footage from multiple countries, multiple time zones, all matching in tone. Some cities refused to participate, fearing public panic. Others charged exorbitant fees for access. But Wise assembled enough material to make Earth stand still feel real, global, terrifying. For 90 seconds, the world actually stopped, and audiences believed it completely. Number 15. The Christ figure. Nobody wanted. Klaatu's story is Christianity retold. An alien comes to Earth with a message of peace. Humanity rejects him. He's killed. he resurrects, he ascends. The parallels are impossible to miss. But in 1951, religious allegory in a sci-fi film was commercial suicide. Studio executives panicked when they realized the Christ parallels. They demanded changes. Remove the resurrection. Remove the ascension. Make it less religious. But writer Edmund North and director Robert Wise stood firm. They argued the religious framework made the story universal, gave it mythic weight. Besides, they claimed it wasn't specifically Christian. It was archetypal. Death and rebirth, judgment and mercy. Every religion had versions. The studio reluctantly agreed, but insisted the allegory remain subtle. No halos, no obvious miracles, no preaching. So Wise threaded it carefully. Klaatu takes the human name, Carpenter, a direct reference to Jesus the Carpenter. He's killed by soldiers. He returns to life after 3 days, sort of. He warns humanity to change or face destruction, like a prophet. When religious groups saw the film, reactions split. Some praised it as brilliant Christian allegory. Others condemned it as blasphemy, putting an alien in Christ's role. Churches debated it, sermons were preached about it, and the controversy only made more people buy tickets. The Christ figure nobody wanted became the reason everyone talked about the film for decades. Number 14. The special effects that broke new ground. The spaceship landing is iconic, a massive saucer descending smoothly, silently, impossibly. But it wasn't a model. Well, not entirely. Special effects artist Fred Surson combined techniques that had never been used together before. The saucer was a large-scale model, yes, but filmed with forced perspective, trick photography, and revolutionary lighting techniques. The ramp extending from the ship, that was practical, built full-size on set. The glowing interior, electrified panels covered in phosphorescent paint that actually glowed. No post-production trickery, real light. The seamless appearance of the ship materializing was achieved through reverse filming and optical printing, frame by frame, a process that took weeks. Surson worked 18-hour days perfecting the effect. He later said the studio gave him impossible deadlines and insufficient budget, so he improvised constantly. The deflector beam that melts tanks, animated light combined with practical explosive effects, the medical resurrection chamber, a rigged platform with pulsing lights and dry ice creating an otherworldly atmosphere. For 1951, these were groundbreaking techniques. No computers, no digital assistance, just ingenuity and exhaustion. The effects don't look dated because Surson understood something modern filmmakers forget. Reality beats spectacle. He prioritized believability over flash. The ship feels heavy, tangible, real. Because in a world without CGI safety nets, effects artists had to be magicians. And Surson pulled off illusions that still hold up 70 years later. Number 13. The score that changed science fiction forever. Bernard Herrmann's score for The Day the Earth Stood Still wasn't just music, it was prophecy. Before this film, sci-fi soundtracks used traditional orchestras playing dramatic swells. Herrmann threw that out. He used theremins, electronic instruments that created eerie, otherworldly sounds, oscillating tones that felt alien, unsettling, completely unlike anything audiences had heard. Studio executives hated it. They wanted traditional music, something safe and recognizable. Herrmann refused. He argued alien contact wouldn't sound like violins and timpani. It would sound wrong, unfamiliar, disturbing. He fought for weeks to keep his electronic score. Finally, they let him keep it for test screenings. Audience reactions were extreme. Some people loved it. Others said it gave them nightmares, but nobody forgot it. The theremin became science fiction's signature sound. Every alien movie after. This one borrowed Herrmann's innovation. From Forbidden Planet to Star Trek, the electronic soundscape he pioneered became the genre's language. Herrmann later said, composing for The Day the Earth Stood Still was the freest he'd ever been creatively. Nobody had established rules for alien music yet, so he invented them. the haunting tones during Gort's first appearance. That's a theremin played at frequencies designed to create anxiety. The gentle melodic theme during Klaatu's farewell. That's humanity's potential, music suggesting hope. Herrmann understood scores aren't decoration. They're emotion made audible, and his Alien Symphony still sounds like nothing else. Number 12, the speech that almost ended the film.
I am leaving soon, and you will forgive me if I speak bluntly. The universe grows small. Your choice is simple. Join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face a...
Klaatu's final speech is legendary. Standing before world representatives, he warns humanity. Join us in peace or face destruction. Simple, powerful, direct. But that speech almost killed the entire production. The original version written by Edmund North was longer, more explicitly anti-nuclear, more politically charged. It named countries, referenced real weapons, criticized American foreign policy directly. When studio executives read it, they threatened to shut down production. Too controversial, too specific, too dangerous. North was devastated. He'd spent weeks crafting that speech, making it powerful and urgent. But Robert Wise knew compromises were necessary for the film to exist at all. So they worked together, rewriting, making it more universal, more abstract. Instead of naming America or Russia, they spoke of Earth as a whole. Instead of condemning capitalism or communism, they condemned violence itself. The rewrite took days. Michael Rennie rehearsed multiple versions, never knowing which would be final. When they finally filmed it, Rennie delivered it in one take, nearly 4 minutes of uninterrupted dialogue. No cuts, no safety, just him and the words. The camera slowly pushes in on his face as he speaks, and you can see genuine emotion in his eyes. Rennie later said he was thinking about real nuclear weapons, real political tensions. He wasn't acting, he was warning, and somehow, despite all the compromises, the speech's power survived. Number 11, the boarding house that became sacred space.
Naturally, we are very curious to know where it is you come from.
From another planet. Let's just say that we're neighbors. My name is Carpenter. I'm looking for a room.
Oh, I see.
Are you an FBI man?
When Klaatu takes human form, he stays at a Washington boarding house, living among ordinary people. Those scenes, quiet and intimate, anchor the entire film. But they almost didn't happen. The studio wanted to cut them entirely, arguing they slowed the pace. Just get to the action, they said. More robot, more threats, less talking. Robert Wise fought back. He insisted those boarding house scenes were the film's heart. Without them, Klaatu was just an alien. With them, he became human, or close enough. The scenes were shot on a modest set, nothing fancy. Patricia Neal played Helen Benson, the widow who befriends Klaatu without knowing his identity. The chemistry between Neal and Rennie was genuine. They liked each. Other spent time between takes discussing the script, debating the film's themes. That friendship shows on screen. Their conversations feel real, unforced. When Klaatu plays with Helen's son Bobby, there's warmth, patience, genuine connection. Those weren't scripted moments. Wise just let the cameras roll and told the actors to interact naturally. The result is some of the most human moments in science fiction history, because The Day the Earth Stood Still understood something most alien movies don't. The alien isn't interesting, the human reaction is. Those boarding house scenes slow the film deliberately, forcing audiences to see Klaatu as a person, not a threat. And when he's killed later, it hurts because we knew him, liked him, wanted him to survive. Number 10, the military refused to cooperate. Most 1950s films got full military support, free equipment, soldiers as extras, technical advisors, everything. The Pentagon loved Hollywood, but not this time. When Robert Wise requested military assistance for The Day the Earth Stood Still, he was refused immediately. The Pentagon read the script and saw anti-military propaganda, a film where the military shoots first, kills an innocent visitor, and proves humanity's violent stupidity? Absolutely not. No tanks, no soldiers, no cooperation. Wise had to rent everything privately. The tanks in the film rented from a private collector. The soldiers surrounding the spaceship paid extras and rented costumes, the military vehicles, props built to look authentic. It was expensive, difficult, and it shows. If you look closely, some uniforms are slightly wrong. Insignias don't match. Formations aren't military accurate. But Wise turned the limitation into an advantage. Without military oversight, he could portray them however he wanted, as trigger-happy, scared, incompetent. The soldier who shoots Cladu isn't evil, just frightened and stupid. That's more damning than villainy. After the film's release, some military leaders called for it to be banned from theaters near bases. They feared it would demoralize troops, make them question orders. Some theaters complied, pulling it from screening schedules. But the controversy only amplified the film's message. If the military was afraid of it, maybe it was saying something true. Number 9, Patricia Neal's performance. Nobody noticed.
This is none of my business. But why did that man come here last night?
Oh, they just wanted to ask me if you...
But he's a robot. Without you, what could he do?
There's no limit to what he could do. He could destroy the Earth.
Patricia Neal was extraordinary in The Day the Earth Stood Still. Warm, intelligent, grounded. She made Helen Benson feel real, modern, ahead of her time. But critics barely mentioned her. Reviews focused on Rennie and Gort, ignoring Neal entirely. Why? Because she was a woman in a sci-fi film, and in 1951, that meant being decoration. But Neal refused to play it that way. She insisted Helen be smart, capable, making her own decisions. In the script, Helen was more passive, reacting to events. Neal rewrote some of her dialogue, making Helen more assertive. She convinced Wise to let her character drive key plot moments. Helen isn't rescued. She participates, she takes risks. She makes the choice to trust Klaatu, defying military orders and social pressure. That was radical for 1951. Most sci-fi women screamed and fainted. Helen thinks and acts. Neal later said she wanted to show women, as Cladu would see them, equal participants in humanity's fate, not side characters in men's stories. And she succeeded. Modern audiences watching the film often cite Helen as refreshingly non-stereotypical. She doesn't exist to be romanced or rescued. She exists to represent humanity's better instincts, compassion over fear, trust over suspicion. Neal deserved awards recognition, but got nothing, because the industry couldn't see past genre and gender. But her performance endures, proving that sometimes the most groundbreaking work is the kind nobody notices until decades later. Number 8. The real reason the Earth stood still.
The government has not yet issued any statement, but there seems to be no question that there actually is a large unidentified object circling the Earth at incredible speed.
The film's central premise, stopping all electricity worldwide, wasn't just dramatic invention. It was inspired by real scientific theory. Edmund North consulted with physicists while writing the script, asking if such a thing was theoretically possible. Could an advanced civilization selectively shut down electrical systems globally? The physicists said maybe, through electromagnetic pulse technology. This was cutting-edge theory in 1951, barely understood. North wove it into the script, making Klaatu's demonstration scientifically plausible, or at least scientifically adjacent. But there was another inspiration, the atomic bomb. North had watched newsreels of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, seen the devastation one weapon could cause. He wondered what would happen if that power turned off instead of exploding. What if you could neutralize weapons without destroying cities? Stop war by stopping the machines of war. That became Klaatu's demonstration. Not violence, but the removal of humanity's violent capacity. It's the ultimate pacifist fantasy. Disable weapons without casualties. Prove your power through restraint. The film never explains exactly how Cladu does it, and that ambiguity is intentional. The how doesn't matter, the why does. And the why is terrifying, because if Cladu can turn off our machines, he can turn off our hospitals, our heating, our life support. His mercy is itself a threat. Stand down or be shut down. Choose peace or lose everything. That subtext made government officials nervous because it worked. Audiences understood the message immediately. Number 7. The child actor who changed the story.
Are you an FBI man?
No, I'm afraid not.
I'll bet he is, Mom. I'll bet he's looking for the spaceman.
I think we've all been here.
Did all those people die in wars?
Most of them. Didn't you ever hear of the Arlington Cemetery?
No, I'm afraid not.
Billy Gray played Bobby Benson, Helen's son and Clayton's young guide to humanity. Gray was 12 during filming, precocious and opinionated. He questioned everything, challenged scenes, suggested changes. Most directors would have shut him down. Wise listened. Gray pointed out that Bobby's dialogue sounded too adult, too scripted. Real kids didn't talk like that. So, Wise let him improvise, rewrite lines in his own words. The result is Bobby feels authentic, not like a Hollywood child actor reading lines. He's curious, stubborn, occasionally annoying, exactly like a real 12-year-old. The baseball game scene, Gray's idea. He wanted Bobby to share something meaningful with Claudio, something purely human and fun. Wise loved it, added it to the script. The cemetery conversation where Bobby talks about his dead father. Gray broke down crying during that take, genuinely emotional. Wise kept it in the film. Gray later said he felt responsible for Bobby's believability. If audiences didn't buy the kid, they wouldn't buy Claudio's relationship with humans. So Gray worked harder than anyone, showing up early, staying late, asking questions adults didn't think to ask. His performance is overlooked now, but it's crucial. Bobby represents humanity's hope, the next generation that might learn from its elders' mistakes. Without Gray's naturalism, that symbolism falls flat. He made it work through sheer determination and talent nobody expected from a child.
Your choice is simple. Join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and the decision rests with you.
Number 6. The ending that tested everyone's courage. The original ending was darker, much darker. In early drafts, Claudio leaves Earth with a threat, change or die, and the film ended with humanity's choice uncertain, ambiguous, unsettling. Test audiences hated it. They wanted resolution, wanted to know if humanity would survive. Studio executives demanded a clearer ending, something hopeful, or at least conclusive. Edmund North refused. He argued ambiguity was the point. Humanity's fate should be in humanity's hands, not resolved by Hollywood convention. The debate raged for weeks. Multiple endings were filmed, tested, rejected. Finally, they settled on the version that exists now. Claudio delivers his warning and leaves, ascends into the ship, disappears. No answer, but a clear choice presented. The ambiguity remains, but feels complete. It's one of cinema's great endings because it refuses to comfort. No reassurance, no salvation, just consequence. You can see fear in the faces watching Claudio leave. They understand the ultimatum, peace or extinction. Choose. The film ends on that choice, hanging in the air like Claudio's spaceship. Wise later said he fought for that ending, knowing it might kill the film's commercial prospects. Happy endings sell tickets. Uncertain ones make people think, and thinking doesn't always translate to box office. But he trusted audiences, and audiences proved him right, debating the ending for generations. Because great art doesn't provide answers. It asks questions we can't forget. Number 5. The robot that became a cultural icon. Gort wasn't supposed to be memorable. In early drafts, the robot was a minor character, background muscle for Claudio's mission. But something happened during production. Every scene with Gort electrified test audiences. They were terrified, fascinated, obsessed. The featureless face, the menacing stillness, the devastating power. Gort became the breakout star. Studio executives panicked initially, worried the robot was too scary for families. They wanted to cut Gort's screen time, make him less threatening. Robert Wise refused. He'd watched audience reactions and saw something executives missed. Gort wasn't scary. He was iconic. That blank face became a mirror. Audiences projected their fears onto him. Nuclear annihilation, technological warfare, humanity's self-destruction, all embodied in one silent, towering figure. Gort didn't need dialogue. His presence was enough. After release, Gort exploded into pop culture. Toys, comics, parodies, references in everything. That image of Gort carrying Patricia Neal became one of science fiction's defining visuals. And Locke Martin, the man inside, he died in relative obscurity years later, unknown to most fans. Because Gort transcended the actor, he became symbol, nightmare, warning. Every killer robot since, from the Terminator to the Sentinels, owes something to Gort, that blank, implacable face that reveals nothing and promises everything. Pure threat without personality. And it worked because sometimes the scariest monster is the one with no motivation beyond function. Gort doesn't hate humanity, he just follows orders. And that's infinitely more terrifying.
We have come to visit you in peace.
Yellow cab, license number H0012, heading west on 15th Street to Treasury Place.
Number 4. The Cold War subtext nobody could ignore. 1951 was ground zero for Cold War paranoia. America and the Soviet Union circling each other, building bombs, preparing for apocalypse. Into this powder keg dropped The Day the Earth Stood Still, and it was gasoline. The film's message, stop building weapons or advanced aliens will destroy you, was clearly about nuclear proliferation. But it went further, suggesting both sides were equally wrong, equally dangerous. That's what terrified government officials. American exceptionalism was the dominant narrative. We were the good guys, obviously. Russia was evil, obviously. But Clayton doesn't pick sides. He condemns all violence, all weapons, all nations. That moral equivalence was radical, almost treasonous in some eyes. Conservative politicians called it communist propaganda. Liberal intellectuals called it brave truth-telling. Both were right. Edmund North was making a statement about mutually assured destruction before the term existed. He saw where the arms race was heading and tried to course-correct through science fiction. Some theaters in conservative areas refused to show the film. Others screened it to packed houses and heated post-film debates. The film became a Rorschach test. Hawks saw anti-American propaganda. Doves saw pacifist wisdom. And everyone missed the real message. The problem isn't capitalism or communism. It's violence. Humanity's addiction to solving problems by killing. That message transcends Cold War politics. It's universal, eternal, uncomfortable. And in 1951, America, uncomfortable truths were dangerous things. Number 3. The director. Who saved? Science fiction. Robert Wise wasn't a sci-fi director. He'd made noir films, dramas, nothing fantastical. Studio executives worried he was the wrong choice, that he wouldn't understand the genre. But Wise understood something more important. Story, character, theme. Genre didn't matter. He approached The Day the Earth Stood Still like serious drama, not pulp entertainment. No camp, no cheese, no winking at the audience. Every scene played straight, grounded, real. That decision saved science fiction. Before this film, sci-fi was B-movie territory. Cheap effects, melodramatic acting, disposable entertainment. The Day the Earth Stood Still proved the genre could be intelligent, meaningful, artful. Wise shot it like a thriller, using noir lighting techniques, dramatic angles, suspenseful pacing. He cast serious actors, not genre stars. He demanded emotional authenticity, not theatrical performance. And it worked. Critics who normally ignored sci-fi took notice. The film got mainstream reviews, played prestigious theaters, attracted adult audiences. Wise opened a door other directors walked through. Stanley Kubrick's 2001, Andrei Tarkovsky's Solaris, Denis Villeneuve's Arrival, all owe something to Wise's decision to take flying saucers seriously. He proved speculative fiction could explore real ideas, meaningful themes, profound questions. And he did it by refusing to treat it as lesser art. After The Day the Earth Stood Still, he directed The Sound of Music and West Side Story, winning Oscars for both. But science fiction fans never forgot his first gift, legitimacy.
I want to meet with representatives from all the nations of the Earth.
I'm afraid that would be a little awkward.
I am leaving soon, and you will forgive me if I speak bluntly. The universe grows small.
Number 2. Michael Rennie's performance. Nobody could match. Michael Rennie created the template for every benevolent alien after. Calm, logical, patient, infinitely sad. Watch any film with peaceful aliens, Close Encounters, E.T., Contact. They're all echoing Rennie's Klaatu. But here's what made him special. Rennie didn't play Klaatu as alien. He played him as more human than humans. More patient, more rational, more compassionate. That was the genius. Klaatu isn't other. He's what we could be. Evolution not in biology, but behavior. Watching him interact with fearful, violent humans is like watching an adult patiently explain to children why fire burns. He's not superior arrogantly. He's superior sadly, because he sees potential being wasted. Rennie prepared by studying religious figures, prophets, teachers. He wanted Klaatu to have that quality of someone who's seen truth and carries the burden of sharing it. Every line reading, every gesture carries weight. When Klaatu says, "I'm impatient with stupidity," you feel his exhaustion, millennia of watching civilizations destroy themselves. And Rennie did all this while battling studio pressure to play it more dramatically, more alien. They wanted bug eyes and stiff movements. He gave them humanity elevated. After the film, Rennie never became a major star. He worked steadily, but never topped Klaatu. And maybe that's fitting, because Klaatu wasn't a role you build on. It was a role you disappear into completely. Rennie gave everything to it, and the performance stands eternal, untouchable, perfect.
There must be security for all, or no one is secure. Now, this does not mean giving up any freedom.
Number 1. The message that still matters. 70 years later, the day the Earth stood still hasn't aged. The effects look dated, sure. The pacing feels slow to modern audiences. But the message? Still urgent, still relevant, still terrifying. Because we didn't listen. Klaatu warned us in 1951. Stop the violence, stop the weapons, stop the madness. Or face extinction. And what did we do? Built more bombs, fought more wars, ignored every warning. The film wasn't predicting the future, it was diagnosing the present. And that diagnosis remains accurate. Nuclear weapons still exist. Climate catastrophe looms. Humanity still solves problems with violence. We're still the species too stupid to save itself. That's why the film endures. Not nostalgia, not novelty. Truth. Edmund North wrote a script about alien intervention, but really he wrote about human failure. Our inability to cooperate, to think long-term, to value survival over pride. And Robert Wise filmed it as a warning we've spent 7 decades ignoring. The tragedy isn't that Klaatu left. It's that we proved him right. We had the choice, peace or extinction, and we keep choosing violence. The day the Earth stood still isn't science fiction anymore. It's documentary, a record of the moment we were offered salvation and said no thanks, we'll take our chances. And every year we survive is just proof we haven't triggered Gort yet. But we will, unless we finally listen to what that strange, sad alien told us 70 years ago. Choose better before it's too late. The day the Earth stood still warned us. We didn't listen. 70 years later, the message hits harder than ever. Klaatu Barada Nikto.